Virgo, welcome to your astrology reading for the month of January. So before I jump into this is most applicable for your rising sign, which is how other people perceive you, especially when they first meet you. It's still applicable for your sun sign, which is how you express yourself, and then also your moon sign, which is how you process everything internally through that emotional lens. Really understanding all three does give you a better idea on how things are going to play out. I'm structuring these videos a little bit differently. So what I did in the past was talk about those major transits, but a lot of times there's gaps. There would be a cluster of events, a gap, cluster of events. And so there's significant transits or significant aspects that happen along the way. So I'm going to highlight those, and I'm going to break this down in a week-by-week format. Starting off, I'm going to focus on January 1st to Saturday the 4th. So really that first half week. We have one major transit, and it happens on Thursday, January 2nd at 10:24 p.m. Eastern Time. And this is Venus entering the sign of Pisces. This one, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to love this reading for you. Venus in Pisces is sitting in your 7th house. And so Venus rules relationships, sitting in your house of relationships. Pisces being, what are your dreams? What are your goals as it relates to this type of relationship? So marriage, if you're married, significant other, long-term partner, however you want to phrase it, whatever makes sense for you in your world, because it's not always about marriage. Not everybody wants to get married, but it really is that long-term relationship. So when you think about what you love and value, either about relationships or somebody specifically, that's going to easily blend with how you feel about your life in general. This Venus in Pisces will square Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so how you feel about this relationship, what do you love about this person, it's going to create obstacles and challenges related to changes that are happening internal to you for your growth. That's a lot of information. So let me see if I can break that down a little bit better. So Uranus retrograde, these would be sudden internal changes that are happening inside of you, because they're internal, sitting in your house of growth and expansion. And so when you think about what it is that you love and value about your relationship here, your marriage or your significant other, that's going to create obstacles and challenges to those changes that are taking place. Now, this is an energy you can work with. You just have to find a way to work with it. On Friday the 3rd, we'll have Mars retrograde in Leo opposite Pluto in Aquarius. Mars retrograde in Leo is sitting in your 12th house. This is you. This is the spiritual you, the internal subconscious you. And so there is some sort of action that you're either taking internal or you're maybe withholding some sort of action right now. That's going to be opposite to the changes that are occurring in your daily life. And so it might be just pause. Where you're just not really ready to take any kind of action inside you. It's more of there's changes that are happening in your daily life right now, and it's one or the other. You can either keep something to yourself and maybe find a way to try to stand still versus embracing these changes that are happening in your daily life. On Saturday the 4th, we'll have the Sun in Capricorn sextile Saturn in Pisces. We're actually going to see a lot of Pisces energy this month. So the way that you're expressing yourself, this is in your house of fun. So this could be related to kids. This could be related to hobbies, passion projects, anything that you enjoy doing. If you're not in a long-term relationship, this would be connected to short-term relationships here. The way that you're expressing yourself, you're coming across as very ambitious, very driven. And that's creating an opportunity for you to really work on the type of relationship you want to have. So there could be something connected to children that gives you an opportunity to work on a marriage partnership or working towards a marriage partnership, something along those lines, because Saturn in Pisces is sitting in your 7th house. And I like how that's being framed up there because it's giving you an opportunity to really work on that relationship. And then the next week, so from Sunday the 5th to Saturday the 11th, we actually have a few major transits taking place. And the first one happens on Monday the 6th at 5:44 in the morning Eastern Time. We'll have Mars retrograde back into the sign of Cancer. So it was in Cancer, moved into Leo, stationed retrograde, was in Leo, now it's back into Cancer. And so this is sitting in your house of friendships, and there might be things that you're keeping to yourself. So you're keeping your feelings to yourself, you're withholding taking any kind of action as it relates to your friendships. That's going to easily flow with whatever is happening, whatever other changes are happening in your life. and how you feel about those, because there is a trine to Moon in Aries. So Moon in Aries is how you feel about that house of death and rebirth. Could also relate to the money that you earn. And so there could be something connected to your finances. If you're withholding something from your friends, it's because you're working on something else, something external to your friends, and how you feel about that. Mars retrograde in Cancer will trine Neptune in Pisces. And so keeping something to yourself as it relates to your friends helps you focus on what kind of relationship do you want to have? What is your significant relationship? What does that look like? What do you want it to be? Because it's really about what are your ideals. That Neptune in Pisces is all about your dreams. What dream relationship do you want? What kind of connection do you want with that person? And how does withholding something from your friends, whether it's withholding your feelings or not taking any kind of action here, how does that help? Because that's what's being highlighted. We'll have this Mars retrograde opposite Pluto in Aquarius. And so keeping your feelings to yourself or not taking some sort of action, or even just taking some sort of internal action related to your friends, it's going to be opposite to whatever changes are happening right now in your daily life. We do have that Pluto sitting in Aquarius, and that's going to be here until 2043, or I think it's 2044. I'll have to look at the dates. But this is that planet of death and rebirth showing up in your daily life. And so there are changes that are taking place. And so it's more of, do I hold back or do I embrace this change? And it's just one or the other. Also on Monday the 6th, we'll have Mercury in Sagittarius square Neptune in Pisces. And so Mercury in Sagittarius is transiting your 4th house of home. These might be conversations that you're having at home. These could be like very honest, very direct, very optimistic type of conversations. Could be high-level conversations, growth and expansion oriented. Sagittarius really does encompass a lot of different attributes here. So whatever types of conversations you're having at home, they're going to make it more difficult for you to really focus on your partnership here. So your marriage or your significant other, it's going to create some obstacles and challenges there, but it's not going to be long lasting. That's on Monday the 6th. On Wednesday the 8th, we have another major transit here. So that, where we were looking at Monday the 6th with that Mercury in Sagittarius, on the 8th at 5:30 in the morning, Mercury enters the sign of Capricorn. And so now Mercury in the sign of Capricorn is sitting in your 5th house. Your 5th house is going to be highlighted a lot this month. So this would be short-term relationships, children, passion projects, hobbies, anything that you enjoy doing for fun. This area of your life is going to be very highlighted from a communication standpoint. So what kind of conversations are you having? Does your hobby include some sort of conversation? Does it include, or are you having conversations around children or with children or in any other way here? That's going to easily flow with whatever you want to grow and expand. However you feel about your own growth and expansion, these conversations really just fully support it. They also create an opportunity for you to focus on what you love and value about your marriage or your significant other here. They do create obstacles and challenges to kind of thinking about or dreaming about what this relationship would look like, but it's more of, with Mercury and Capricorn, we're past the dreaming phase. We're actually trying to make something here a reality. And so, because we do have the 7th house highlighted a few times, and we also have the 5th house along with the 9th house, this might indicate growing a family. With this Mercury and Capricorn, there could be an opportunity here, and it's an opportunity to really grow a family or have conversations around growing a family, expanding a family of some sort. Also on the 8th, we'll have the Sun in Capricorn square Chiron in Aries. Chiron in Aries is this wound. Could be a traumatic type of wound, could be related to power and control issues, money issues, transformation. There's a lot of things kind of embodied within that 8th house, which is where Chiron is sitting for you right now. So it's in that house of transformation. And so whatever conversations or the way that you're expressing yourself as it relates to children or your passion projects, things like that, it's creating obstacles or challenges to doing something about that wound. We're actually going to see that a couple times this month. It's not really a significant piece. The Chiron energy is just not the dominant energy right now. So I wouldn't put too much weight behind that. What I do love for you is on Saturday the 11th, we officially start Pisces Virgo eclipse cycle. And I'll talk about that more when we get into the actual full moons, new moons as they relate to the eclipses, but did want to highlight that here, that we'll be officially into the Pisces Virgo eclipse cycle, which does include you. You will be the South Node in this one. So there would be Virgo energies that you would be looking to let go of. These would be things that you're very comfortable doing versus going after something here, because that Pisces energy is going to be the North Node, which is something that you need to accomplish. So we'll talk about that more when the time comes. For the next week, so from Sunday the 12th to Saturday the 18th, we have one major transit, and that is going to be a full moon. But before we get to the full moon, on Sunday the 12th, we'll have Mars retrograde in Cancer, trine Neptune in Pisces. And so this, keeping your feelings to yourself, not taking some sort of action in your friendships, it's easily going to flow with you focusing on your ideal partnership, your ideal marriage or significant other. On Monday the 13th, prior to the full moon, we'll have the Sun in Capricorn trine Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so this is just about the way that you're expressing yourself, coming across as very driven, very motivated here. That is going to easily blend or easily flow with whatever changes are taking place so that you can grow and expand. And then the full moon on the 13th happens at 5:27 p.m. Eastern time. And so this is the full moon in Cancer. The way that this is impacting you, we've got the sun in your 5th house. We've got the moon in your 11th house. The 5th house energy, it's all about that fun. It is all the things that you enjoy doing outside of work. So think of kids, passion projects, maybe short-term relationships, whatever you enjoy doing, the way that you're expressing yourself there, very ambitious, very driven, goal-oriented. You might be putting plans into place in those areas of your life, versus the way that you feel about your friends. And so because the moon is sitting here opposite the sun in the sign of Cancer, we actually have Mars retrograde there as well. So it's not just the sun opposite the moon, so how you feel about your friends, but also withholding any kind of action. So not taking some sort of action, keeping your feelings to yourself. The sun is going to be opposite that as well. And so it's going to be, are you focused on your friends? Are you focused on kids? Are you focused on passion projects, something else? It's going to be a one or the other. You're going to have to find the happy medium if you're looking to find that balance. But because we have the sun opposite both the moon and Mars in Cancer, that means the moon and Mars are near each other. They're having a conversation. So how you feel about your friends fully aligns with keeping something from them, whether it's keeping your feelings to yourself, not taking some sort of action, at least an outward action related to those friends, that fully aligns. You might be taking internal action here because that Mars retrograde could indicate that as well. There might be something internally that you're doing relative to your friends. During this full moon, we'll have the Sun trine Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so the way that you're expressing yourself right now, that very goal-oriented, driven way that you're expressing yourself, easily blends with whatever changes are happening so that you can grow and expand. How you feel about your friends is creating an opportunity for even more changes to take place for your growth and expansion. And this would be inner growth and expansion, inner changes that are taking place. We'll have the sun sextile Neptune in Pisces, where the moon will trine Neptune in Pisces. So these conversations that you're having, the way that you're expressing yourself about kids, or just being very ambitious and driven anyway, from like a passion standpoint, a hobby standpoint, it's creating an opportunity for you to really focus on that ideal partnership, that ideal marriage or marriage partner. The way that you feel about your friends easily blends with that type of relationship. What kind of marriage are you looking for? What does that partnership look like here? We will have the sun conjunct Pluto during this full moon. And so this kind of ambitious, driven self-expression that's taking place here is going to blend with whatever changes are happening in your daily life. The way that you feel about your friends is going to be opposite that energy. And so it's either something connected to children, your passion projects, hobbies, things like that easily blends, or it's going to be, so that tells me that there's probably changes in that when it comes to maybe passion projects, kids, things like that in your daily life. this would be an easy kind of flowing energy, blending energy. Whereas when you think about how you feel about your friends, it's going to be opposite those changes that are taking place. So those changes don't seem to have an impact on your friends. It's more of these other areas of your life where it's going to have an impact. The sun and moon during this full moon will both form a T-square to Chiron in Aries. So what this means is the way that you're expressing yourself right now and the way that you feel about your friends, they're both creating obstacles and challenges to healing that wound that's been coming to the surface related to some sort of trauma. So whether it's this resistance to change, fear of change, it could be connected to money, power and control issues, things like that. Whatever that wound is, now's not the right time to work on it. There's other changes that are taking place in your life right now that do seem to require more of your attention just at the moment. If you wanted to work on that wound, you certainly could. It just requires more effort. And then we do have the moon in Cancer trine Saturn in Pisces. And so how you feel about your friendships easily flows with working on that significant relationship. So that marriage partner, if you're married, that relationship here. And then on the 14th, we have Venus in Pisces square Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. And so what you love and value about your significant other or that relationship, it does create obstacles and challenges to whatever inner growth you're looking for in your career or your public reputation. So this would be some sort of internal growth because that Jupiter is retrograde. It's more of, are you focused on your work or are you focused on your relationship? Because they're not the same. And so right now it seems to be the focus is on this Venus and Pisces energy. On Wednesday, the 15th, we'll have the sun in Capricorn opposite Mars retrograde in Cancer. And so the way that you're expressing yourself right now, this kind of ambitious self-expression, very driven, motivated, goal-oriented, is going to be opposite keeping your feelings to yourself. So keeping your feelings to yourself as it relates to your friends, or maybe not taking some sort of action or taking some sort of internal action. It's going to be one or the other. So it could be that you're focused on kids and not focused on doing something relative to your friends. That would be an opposition because it's one or the other. And then we do have the sun in Capricorn sextile Neptune and Pisces. So there's a couple of days in here that are pretty significant. So Friday the 17th with this sun in Capricorn sextile Neptune and Pisces, the way that you're expressing yourself, being very driven, very goal-oriented, it's creating an opportunity for you to really focus on that significant relationship. What kind of relationship are you looking for? Because the next day on the 18th, you're being given an opportunity to work on it. So what do you love and value about that relationship? What kind of effort and energy do you want to put into that relationship? Very easy. I love the way that that all is kind of happening together. So that's on Friday the 17th, Saturday the 18th. Then we have on Sunday the 19th, jumping into the next week where we're looking at Sunday the 19th to Saturday the 21st. That Sunday, we have Mercury in Capricorn sextile both Venus and Saturn in Pisces. And so conversations related to children or your passion projects, hobbies, things like that, it creates an opportunity to work on that relationship or really focus your effort and energy on what you love and value about that relationship. And so there's a lot of things happening here relative to like a family type of environment. I'm seeing that as a common theme throughout the month. So take it as it resonates. I like the way that it's showing up for you in this reading. And also on Sunday the 19th, we'll have the sun enter the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius, for you, your sixth house of daily life. And so there's so many broad areas in your daily life. This would be an instance where I would say, listen, if this is your rising, listen to your sun sign, listen to your moon sign, and see what area specifically does this impact, because that sun in Aquarius is a very liberating type of self-expression. But what area specifically in your daily life is this impacting? Is it your career? Is it your home life? Could be a combination. So kind of take that and incorporate that in a way that makes sense for you. So when the sun enters Aquarius, it's going to conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. So these changes that are happening in your daily life and the way that you're expressing yourself, full alignment here. This sun will also trine Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so when you think about your growth and expansion, having these liberating conversations, expressing yourself in that way also easily flows with whatever changes are happening that are meant to help you grow and expand who you are. The sun will also trine the moon in Libra. And so the way that you're expressing yourself, this kind of out of the box, unconventional way of expressing yourself, it easily flows with how you feel about your personal finances and feeling very balanced and harmonious about those. Sun in Aquarius will also sextile Neptune in Pisces. And so the way that you're expressing yourself in your daily life creates an opportunity for you to really focus on what kind of relationship are you looking for? What kind of marriage are you looking for? Significant other are you looking for? What is this relationship? Like, what is it that you truly want in that area of your life? We do have the sun opposite Mars retrograde in Cancer. And so again, when you think about you're expressing yourself in a very liberating, unconventional type of way in your daily life, that is going to be opposite keeping your feelings to yourself or not taking some sort of action here or doing something that's internal, taking some sort of internal action. That would be the opposition energy. It's either one or the other. On Tuesday, the 21st, we have a couple things happening here. So Mercury will square Chiron in Aries. And so these kind of goal-oriented conversations in the area of kids or hobbies, things like that, it's going to create obstacles and challenges to healing any kind of wound. So wound connected to the money that you earn, could be connected to that transformation, that death and rebirth, or trauma of some sort where it's like power and control issues, things like that. It's just making it more difficult to work on it, but you could certainly work on that wound if you wanted to. And then also on Tuesday, we'll have the sun conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. And so these goal-oriented conversations, the way that you're expressing yourself fully lines up with whatever changes are happening in your daily life. And then on Thursday, the 23rd, we'll have Mars retrograde in Cancer, sextile Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so that Mars retrograde in the sign of Cancer, it's about you keeping your feelings to yourself. So there's something that you're not expressing to your friends, or there's some sort of action that you're not taking with your friends. You're doing all of these things internal. It's creating an opportunity for other changes to take place so that you can grow and expand. Also on the 23rd, on Thursday, the 23rd, we'll have Mercury opposite Mars retrograde in Cancer. And so these, thinking back to those conversations you're having with other people, maybe around children or around your passion projects, hobbies, could even be short-term relationships too. Those conversations are going to be opposite keeping your feelings to yourself. Those conversations will also easily flow. I'll use those words, easily flow with whatever changes are happening here for your growth and expansion. There's a lot of kind of interplay between these planets on the 23rd. A lot of conversations are taking place. So I like how that's all playing out for you. On Saturday, the 25th, we've got Venus in Pisces, trine Mars retrograde in Cancer. And so what this means is when you focus on what you love and value about your significant other or that relationship, it's going to easily flow with whatever you're keeping to yourself as it relates to your friends, or whatever action you're not taking relative to those friends, or even maybe taking some sort of internal action instead. Whatever is taking place there, this is an easy blend of energy. And then the last week of the month, so from Sunday the 26th to Friday the 31st, we have 3 major transits taking place. So a lot of activity this week. Starting on Sunday the 26th, we have Mercury in Capricorn, sextile Neptune in Pisces. And so these conversations that you're having relative to children or your hobbies, things like that, they're creating opportunities for you to kind of focus on what kind of relationship do you want to have with your significant other or your marriage partner if you're married. So same day, on Sunday the 26th, we have Venus in Pisces, sextile Uranus retrograde in Taurus. So the same day that you're thinking about what kind of relationship do you want with this person, you're also being given an opportunity to focus on what you love and value about that relationship or that person specifically. And that creates an opportunity for more changes to take place so that you can grow and expand. And so when you kind of look at all this together, there's a lot, again, still with you, a lot of interaction between children, marriage, significant other, growth and expansion. What is it that you want to accomplish here? What are you really trying to do here? Are you trying to bring things together? Are you really trying to grow and expand a family? Because that's really being highlighted here. Now, that's not for everybody. Not everybody's at that place in their life, but that doesn't necessarily mean giving birth to children either. That could be growth and expansion in other ways, like blending families is very common these days. So it could be something along those lines as well. On Monday, the 27th, we have our first major transit of the week. So we'll have Mercury enter the sign of Aquarius, and that happens at 9:53 p.m. Eastern Time. And so we're about to see a lot of energy hitting your daily routines. And so with Mercury in the mix, there could be a lot of liberating conversations, breaking free of limitations and restrictions. The way that you're expressing yourself, there's so much happening here as it relates to this kind of new way of thinking, new way of expressing yourself and behaving. It just feels very unconventional, very different than what you're used to, because we have Mercury conjunct the Sun in Aquarius, Mercury conjunct Pluto in Aquarius. And so it's a lot of change here that's taking place, but in a really positive way. It's really breaking old paradigms, old ways of behaving. Again, with the limitations and restrictions being lifted. And so with this Mercury, there's also a conjunction to the moon in Capricorn. And so how do you feel about children? And how does these types of conversations in your daily life, these liberating, freeing, unconventional types of conversations, how does that help you as it relates to children or your hobbies? Whatever it is that we've been talking about the entire month, it's being highlighted again here. Mercury will also trine Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And so these conversations, they're going to easily flow with whatever internal changes are taking place so that you can grow and expand. Mercury will also sextile both Venus and Neptune in the sign of Pisces. And so these conversations are really giving you an opportunity to focus on what kind of relationship do you want? What do you love and value about this relationship or this person? I like the way that this is playing out. Mercury in Aquarius will be opposite Mars retrograde in Cancer. And so it feels like there's not a lot happening with your friends so much this month as it is your daily life, your family, kind of that closer people, I would say, group of people that you spend a lot of your time with, more of your time than you do your friends. So that's just being highlighted more. And so it's either you're having these types of liberating conversations or you're keeping something to yourself related to your friends or not taking some sort of action here, something along those lines. It's an opposition. You're probably not focused on your friends right now, and you're probably more focused on these other areas because your significant other, that type of relationship keeps showing up, children, hobbies, passion projects, things that you're probably not doing with your friends. That's what's really being highlighted here. So that's on Monday. On Wednesday, the 29th, we have our next major transit of the week. We have the new moon in Aquarius. And so that's going to happen at 7:36 in the morning Eastern time. And so this is where the sun and the moon are at the same degree point in the sign of Aquarius. Very liberating. So you're going to feel very liberated. You're going to be expressing yourself that way. But it's not just the sun and the moon that are here. They're in a conjunction with Pluto and Mercury. And so Pluto being the planet of change. So that death and rebirth, so changes in your daily life. Mercury, the way that you're communicating, the content of the conversations, how you're processing everything through, because Mercury is not just about outward communication, it's about the way that you're thinking about it all too. So there's a lot that's happening here during this new moon that is meant to free you from the past. And this does feel like a significant move forward. I like the way that this feels. I like the way that the direction where this is going. The sun and moon will also trine Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. So when you're thinking about your career and what kind of growth you want there, feeling very liberated, breaking free from all of these old patterns and restrictions and unhealthy behaviors that may have held you back in the past, freeing yourself from all of that is going to easily blend with whatever you want to do to grow and expand your career. Later the same day, the energy will just get a little bit more significance. We get it with the moon, but then Mercury and Pluto will be conjunct later in the day. And so it'll be highlighted again. So pretty much expect that energy all day on the 29th. And then on Thursday, the 30th, we have another major transit. So this one here is Uranus stationing direct in the sign of Taurus at 11:22 in the morning Eastern time. And so what this means, Uranus has been retrograde. And so when Uranus was retrograde, that indicated a lot of internal change, a lot of sudden internal change, maybe sudden realizations were taking place, sitting in your house of growth and expansion. And so now that Uranus is direct, it's a lot of you were changing on the inside. That's opening up change to happen on the outside. These would be sudden changes that are meant to help you grow and expand. And the way that this is playing out for you, there's a sextile to Mars retrograde in Cancer. This outward growth and expansion, it's creating an opportunity for you to maybe withhold some sort of action in your friendships or hold your feelings to yourself. Keep something here to yourself. There's a reason for it. It's going to help you when it comes to this growth and expansion. And so that's why this is showing up as an opportunity. Uranus will also sextile Venus and Saturn in the sign of Pisces. And so whatever changes are taking place, they're meant for your growth. And it's giving you an opportunity to work on what you love about your marriage, your significant other, that relationship, what you love and value about that relationship. Again, these are opportunities. These changes, these sudden changes that are going to take place are really opening up opportunities for you to take advantage of during this time. Uranus in Taurus will square the moon in Aquarius. And so these changes that are happening for your growth and expansion, they're going to create obstacles and challenges to how you feel around everything happening in your daily life. But it's more of, this is kind of where you are right now in your daily life, these changes that are taking place versus changes that are happening for your growth and expansion. And that's where the effort and energy is coming in. You can certainly bridge these together. You just have to put the effort in. And then also on the 30th, we'll have the Sun trine Jupiter retrograde in Gemini. So that's Sun in Aquarius, the way that you're expressing yourself in your just normal everyday life, very liberating, very unconventional. It's going to easily flow with whatever you want to do to grow and expand your career. So Virgo, this is your reading. I hope it resonates. If it did, please like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Take care.